Hi everyone, good day. How are you all doing? Happy celebration. Congratulations to Aquaworld. Yeah, Aquaworld is four, and I'm so happy to be a part of this novel call. And I'm so happy to be presenting on a day like this. My name is Dr. Toyosi Igejongbo. I'm sure a lot of you will know me. I'm a lecturer at the Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture Technology. I'm an award fellow, fellow for women in science, fellow for women in Africa, and the list goes on. So, yes, I'll be talking to you today on gender opportunities in ocean conservation, focus on women and girls. And I hope you enjoy as we move on with the lecture. So, I would just crave your indulgence to be attentive. And some don't say I'm not a man. I'm a man, I'm not a woman. I'm a boy, I'm not a girl. It's not for me. You would understand as we move on that we'll all have something to take home from here. So let's just move on. The presentation outline, I would be, why ocean conservation? That's one major thing I'll be talking about. Why ocean conservation? How is gender related to ocean conservation? Okay, even if we understand the need to conserve the ocean, what's the essence of gender in this? Must gender be in everything? Must it all be about gender? This gender that, this gender this? Then what are the opportunities and recommendations? So in the few minutes I have, I will just try to highlight and dig a little deeper into these three outlines. The ocean, as we know, is a sustainer of life. Over 70% of the planet Earth is covered with water, and this water serves as home to fish for food, protein consumption, to medicine for health, even to drugs for development, growth, to infrastructure. 1.5 billion people depend on ocean for food. Their dependent livelihoods. The list is endless. As you can see in this slide, you have fishing as an activity. You have textile, get their raw materials from the ocean. You see, you can see some seafoods. You can see some sea animals. You can see coral reefs, which is one of the biodiversity that we have in the world. It's part of the wealth that we have as a nation. The coral reef, we can talk about that for over an hour. It's a field on its own. It's a beautiful life, and it generates millions for countries that have invested in it. We can see cage fishing. So a lot comes from the ocean. Food and security is gotten from the ocean. Economic and community development is gotten from the ocean. Like I gave an example of coral reefs, so many communities export sea products, even shellfishes. They are exported to raise the GDP of nations. For example, in Ghana, they do a lot of cage culture for some of their fishes, and they export it to different parts of the world. Regional and international trade, export earnings, environmental health and biodiversity conservation, even security. I want you to know that the ocean is a home to all. Oil companies use the ocean. Dredgers use the ocean. Mining companies use the ocean. The ocean is also a means of transportation. The military have their base on the ocean. Let me give you an example. There was a time we were navigating the North Sea around Sweden, Denmark, and we got a call that we cannot move. We were going on a cruise. We were trying to collect herring and sprats. some species of fish along the North Sea, and we're carrying out population studies on them. Some of the Russian army were on the North Sea and they were carrying out some activities. We had to stop for a very long time, going over 24 hours, which affected our trip. We couldn't move. So you can see, we fishers and the army, we have the same interest, and that is the ocean. So a lot revolves around this wealth that we have. It's a common wealth for us. It's a common wealth for the whole world. We have to manage it. I can't say because I'm fishing, I won't allow the army, the military, to do their work. So a lot happens on the ocean. Saying that, so many things are also going wrong in the ocean. The ocean is home to all. The ocean is known as the home of our wealth. Looking at this map is giving you estimated projection of mismanaged plastic waste into the ocean. Look at what it's telling us as at 2025. Look at the increase. Look at the spike. It's getting higher. So you are now telling me we shouldn't conserve. We all know the effect of having heavy plastics in the ocean, because I know that's one of the landmark of Aquaworld. And kudos to Aquaworld. You can all clap for yourselves. I know so many of you here attending this lecture have picked plastics a lot. Your pictures are everywhere. Yes, picking up plastics. Taking a look at this from year 2020 to 2025, you can see the hike of the projected increase. So something needs to be done. If something is not done, this wealth that we have, this our common property, would be a problem. Look at this slide. We are still talking of why conservation of the ocean. Look at it. We are our own enemies. We are at war against ourselves. This same ocean is what provides drinking water. And it's the same ocean that has been turned to a place of municipal waste. This is the Sunday Review magazine that says when human declared war on fish. And I want to say it that we declared war not only on fishes, we declare war on ourselves. Look at waste. Look at industrial pollution, oil, everything dumped into this ocean. It's so painful, and we need to rise up to the cause. There is need to conserve our ocean. If not, so many things will go wrong. And in your own little bit, you do your best, because posterity would record your efforts. Your little efforts in your own capacity will go a long way in saving this, our wealth as a nation. I'm doing my bits. Aquaworld is doing his bits. We are all doing our bits. The ocean needs to be conserved because humans are declaring war on the ocean, on the fishes, and on him or herself. Sorry. And I want you to know that there are prospects in conserving this ocean. This is a slide giving us examples of related marine funding by category and flow type. Can you see which one has the highest? It's conservation. That means the international world knows that we need to conserve this ocean. Look at fisheries development. Look at management policy. Look at science. That's where research is. Look at services. But look at conservation. Conservation is the highest in the list. So not only ODA funding, So many funding organizations are pumping a lot of grants, they are pumping a lot of loans, they are pumping a lot of commitments into conservation of the ocean. Conservation of the ocean stands as number one. And that is why, if you love the ocean, if you pick the conservation of the ocean as a course to follow, either for passion, for study, for job, I want you to know that you are on the right path. What is gender? How do we now relate gender to this issue of ocean conservation? Well, I'm going to be highlighting some things, and it's three. The first one is the concept of gender. You need to understand what gender is and its importance for community conservation. You also need to understand why gender is important in conservation and how it can be integrated. I want you to know that one major reason why gender is inculcated is because of a foundational issue. And what is that? The issue is that men and women are affected differently by effects of the ocean. Women are more affected than men. Some people will say, women, why women? Why women? You know, because women are the laboratory of the workforce when it comes to food systems. They are the ones that do the cooking. They are the ones that do the work that involves food system. So if there is any shortage in natural resources, women are more vulnerable to food insecurity and poverty. For example, if there is a flood, the woman is the one that cooks. She's used to using firewood to cook outside. She's the one that would have the first person to have the headache. Where am I going to cook? Flood has covered the whole environment. So those are some of the vulnerability we are talking about. Is the woman that will be pregnant in local communities, carrying a baby in her tummy, walking another one to school. And at the end of the day, when something happens to our ocean and it sweeps the whole environment, she's the one at risk. So this is just trying to tell us that women voices should not be excluded, because they are the ones at the receiving end of any problem. So when you as a sect know you bear, or your sect bears most of the issues or even most of the problems, the onus lies on you to rise up to the task. Yes. And when it comes to gender, there are common misconceptions. Gender is not just about women. That is why I said, if you think you're a man or you're a boy, don't go out of the room. We are all together. Gender is not about women. No. That is why you see in the topic says focus on women and girls. If not, men, gender is a set. It means that everybody is treated with equity. Like someone says, equality means everybody has a shoe, while equity means everyone has a shoe that fits. I have a shoe, you have a shoe. Even if my own is bigger or smaller than my leg, as long as we have both have shoes, equality has taken its place. But what equity does is that my shoe fits me perfectly and your shoe fits you perfectly. And that is why this lecture is proclaiming equity, meaning that we need to focus more on women and girls because there is less focus on that aspect. Some people say thinking about gender is too complicated, costly, and time consuming. Why do you say that? It increases effectiveness. And as a woman, we have valuable knowledge and skills which we can use to benefit programs. You know, women are multitasking. Women are intelligent. Imagine, I even say that as a woman, we are the salt of the heart. So anything that is being done, any area that you are digging into, any aspect of conservation of field that you are working on, and you don't put women at the forefront, maybe there might be a problem. And as a conservationist, it is not our job to think about cultural issues like gender. Who told you that? Community conservation interventions already attempt to intervene in culture. Yes, every community intervention is cultural. It's normal. It's behavioral. You go to a community to intervene, you have to understand the culture, you have to understand the behavior. And United Nations have committed to promoting gender equality and women rights. So it is our duty to be gender sensitive. Often, conservation program implementers miss women perspective and participation, which makes the implemented program loop-sided. There is always issue. And that is why some of our programs that we've implemented are really, really not solutions. Because you have to know the people that are suffering from this problem. They are the ones that have the solution. We can't just sit down somewhere and say we want to do solution, we want to give solution, we want to solve a problem. Thus, implementers need to think about gender integration in their programs. So I want you to know that as a woman, you are a problem solver. Let me put it that way. As a woman, you're a problem solver. Because a woman, you are needed in national ocean conservation policies. So you are needed. The world needs you. And we need to understand the social and cultural context within which conservation activities are implemented. To integrate gender, there are three major aspects. Number one, collection of sex disaggregated data, gender-sensitive project design, developing indicators for monitoring gender integration throughout the project cycle. So I want you to know, man or woman, boy or girl, any research you are doing in the ocean sector, you want it to go far, you want it to sell, I want you to know that you need to inculcate gender. And it has to start from the project designing. From inception, when you are designing your project, you should know that you are all out to collect sex disaggregated data. Make it balanced. Time will not permit me to go deep into it because I've dealt with this even on international fora. Sex disaggregated data is one major way forward in ocean conservation matters. And we also have to develop indicators of monitoring it. So to all of you doing research here or going to work here in one way or the other, I'm not just saying this because I have to talk about gender. This is what the world has established. When you talk of gender and conservation, women and ladies, this is for you. You need to participate. Participation is important. I have showed you the funds that are available. There are funds available everywhere for you to carry out research. There are grants available, especially for women. For example, I'm a fellow of African Women in Agricultural Research and Development. When you hear agriculture, you hear women in agriculture, women in science. So many opportunities for us avails. You need to be participatory. Then you need to have link to rights. You should know your rights. A woman has a right. You know your link to your rights and stand on your rights. Accountability. Are you accountable? Opportunities abound. Are you accountable? And there should be no discrimination. No. Say no to it. Only a man can do this, a woman can. No to it. Women are fully involved. We are there. Empowerment. Seek to be empowered. And we need to transform social norms. She's supposed to be in the kitchen. She's supposed to be cooking, taking care of the children. I cook. I take care of my children. I carry out my research. I take care of my family. And I'm working on ocean conservation. So what are you telling me? And I keep learning. I keep participating. I go for my rights. I am accountable. And I get empowered. And I'm working towards transforming social norms. As a woman and as a girl, you need to rise up. You need to stand firm. I want to drop this advice for women and girls. Keep learning. Learning a new skill is essential. You want to make it in ocean conservation? Opportunities are bound for you. But for those opportunities to find you, what capacity do you have? What solution are you bringing? I have gotten exposed to so many knowledge. I would just wonder, is this in ocean? Is this in oceanography? I've not heard of it before. I start learning again. I enroll for courses. I take courses. You might even need to pay for some. But all that matters is to keep developing yourself, keep growing, and keep learning. Secondly, is build a network of allies, a network of good friends. Bi-directional knowledge sharing between colleagues, supportive peers is very essential because it can build a good rapport. And I want you to know that it would also help you if you can have a good mentor. Mentoring is important. Somebody to help you grow. Somebody like me climbed on the soldiers of giants to get to where I am today. And I still have so many soldiers I'm still climbing on. You want to go high? You want to be established? You need to build a network of allies. And another thing, because of the norm, the social norm that we're talking about, it's usually difficult and hard at times for women to advocate for themselves because they'll say, maybe she's bragging. What has she even accomplished? Why is she doing younger? Why is she bragging too much? But when you have a strong network for allies or friends, they blow your trumpet for you. Let me put it that way. They are your external bragging party. And it makes you visible to the world. And puts less burden on you. You need that. Another thing is for you to choose when to go above and when not to. Anything put in your care, give it your all. Somebody will say, when they give me assignment, I die there. Permit me to say that. Whatever it is they give you to do, give it your all. Go the extra miles. Put in the extra efforts. Don't give excuses. The sky is your starting point. Come on. And there are some times, be sensitive when you don't need to. There are times that I've been given assignments to do, and I have so much zeal. But when I see some red flags, I know, no, this is not going to go over. Be very sensitive to scenarios. That is when you can really move high. Learn to say yes. Even when it's not comfortable. Even when it looks so doubting. I have learned to say yes to opportunities even if they look scary. I believe I can. Like many people, public speaking is not a favorite activity of mine. But when they give me any opportunity to speak, I give it my all. And you prepare so much so that you can be confident. Those are ways you can harness opportunities that exist in oceanography. And I want you to know that for women and girls, it's a spectacular field and a unique sector. For example, I was privileged to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York, USA. That was last month. And I want you to know that the United Nations bring women from all over the world to discuss issues concerning women and the world. And one major aspect is natural resource. Somebody like me was there on the platform of the ocean, managing the ocean, managing our natural resource, and inculcating gender. I extracted some points from my personal take-home that I want to share with you today. Women have always labored for food systems, but food systems have not been working for them. It is now time to change the narrative by involving women not only at the lower end of food systems, but also at the helm of affairs. If you're not around the table, then you're on the menu. Now, the United Nations are putting women on the helm of their affairs. And you are a woman. You want to shy away from conservation? Don't shy away. Push yourself in. Because very soon, we will need you at the helm. There are spaces being created at the top for women and girls. We need you. Because I want you to know that if you are not sitting at the table where decisions are being made, then you're on the menu. You don't have a choice. Anybody can pick you, eat you, and throw you away. So please, women have labored enough. Some of us here, we are here today because our parents, our mothers in particular, suffered to train us through school. They sold food. They did a lot in making food systems work. Some of our mothers sold fish. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to take the bull by the horn and sit at the table, high up there. The United Nations has established it now. So please learn a skill, develop yourself, push yourself forward, give yourself visibility, and keep moving. Another key point is that there is need to promote women and girls' full equal participation and leadership in natural resource management. That's another key point that we took away from there. And natural resource management, one major natural resource we have is our ocean. It is necessary to expand gender responsive finance for the environment. So even the financial sector is expanding to respond to women and youths, young girls, because the need is there. We need them at the helm of the affairs. Women resilience needs to be built, and women resilience can only be built best by women. Women must have access to land, access to technology, food security, renewable energy, and finally, there must be 6 disaggregated data to give evidence-based policies. The list is endless actually. I just extracted this and I just said I should run through it to encourage you. And finally, I'll be going by dropping this for you. Don't forget that as a woman, you are strong. Yes, we are very strong. You are special. You are multitasking. And you can. What is it that is telling you you can't? You can. You can push beyond any boundary. You can get to anywhere you need to get to. You can be at the highest top. Some women have done it, and you can. Tell yourself, I can. Yes, I can. A lot of opportunities are bound for you in ocean and conservation. I wish you all a happy celebration and do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye. Thank you for listening.